This is Andrew Stotts, and we are talking about careers in finance with Pornphen Chuleeprasert, also nicknamed Tơi. Tơi, welcome to the show. Maybe you can introduce yourself, what you do, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, hi. I'm Pornphen. My nickname is Thới, and I'm a fund manager at MFC Asset Management.
Mm.
Mhm.
And when you talk about fund management, some fund managers are fixed income, some are equity, some are mixed. Tell us a
Yes,
little bit about your experience in fund management.
yes. I do the foreign investment. So invest in like equities, fixed income, and commodities, alternative like real estate. In foreign investment, not the Thai equity, not the Thai investment.
Right. And
Yes.
when you invest in like foreign, for most people inside their own country, they're mainly investing in their local market. And when they're
Yes.
investing in their local market, they're buying stocks,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes when people are investing in foreign markets, particularly from like Thailand, they
Yes.
may not buy stocks, they may buy some asset,
Yes.
like European equity
Mm-hmm.
ETF
Mm-hmm.
or something like that.
Yes.
What is yours like as far as what you manage?
I manage the foreign equities. So we invest in like globally, of like via the ETF, or maybe we choose to fund the active funds, foreign active funds, into the feeder funds, and
Hmm.
also I also do the active management, like investing in individual stocks in
Okay.
globally in Asia, and also the real estate, the REITs, the
Mm.
global REITs and Asian REITs. Yes.
And how did you get into this business? Number one, this
Mhm.
business, but
Okay.
also you're in a very different situation than a lot of local fund managers that are picking stocks in Thailand.
Mhm.
Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about how you got here.
Um, I started. Actually, I'm always in this field since I graduated, like 10 years ago, and I graduate. I work as I did a master degree in finance. So at the beginning, I'm not really sure what I should do, but when I went for the interview at the asset management, it seems like it's like I like this job, and um, it's similar to what I studied in finance and economics. So I decided to join as an assistant fund manager first. Yes, and when I do that, I like it. Yes.
And when you became an assistant fund manager, did you say to
Yes.
yourself, I want to be a fund manager by this time? Or what were you
Yes.
thinking in your mind at that
Yes.
time?
Yes. At that time, my aim is to become a fund manager. So I plan to be maybe like 3 years, 3 to 5 years, maybe to get to know what the job do first, and
Mm,
then yes, I wanted to be a fund manager at the end. Yes.
right. And, since some people watching are young students that are kind of getting into the world of finance and they're trying to figure out their place to build their career. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I was a sell side analyst and I was selling my ideas to fund managers.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also buy side analysts that are working within funds. And then you have fund managers. Maybe you can explain just the role of some of the different people in the
Okay.
ecosystem of maybe brokers
Yeah.
and fund managers and that type of thing so we can understand the ecosystem.
Okay. Um, as a fund manager, we also like a analyst too. Assistant fund manager, we do the same work as analyst, but maybe but not too deep not in depth as a sales
Mm,
side analyst. We got the information from the analyst from the sales side, and then we study again, and then look at like different types, maybe many analysts house,
mm-hmm,
um, and then we discuss ourselves, in our team.
Right.
And then maybe we do just a simple like model, and then we try to like do the maybe see what this stock we should invest or not. Yes.
And what is the difference between the way, let's say, a sell side analyst, thinks and their job compared to
Mm,
you? Like sometimes even in your job, you may look at a sell side analyst and go, okay, that person was very helpful in this case. But other times you may say that didn't help us at all in the way that
mm.
that sell side analyst thinks. What is the difference between, or what do you need?
Okay, because I need to make a decision because I'm a fund manager, and so I get a lot of information, like many like buy stocks, sell stocks, but at the
Mhm.
end I have to make decision. So I have to look at my like my objective. Like for example, I manage the equity, the Asian equity. So I have to look at my like maybe the benchmark that the benchmark is my Asian equity. So I have to look at the like the weight of each sector, and then I pick the best. And then I also have to maybe look at the whole picture first. For example, if the market right now is it a good time to fully invest, like for example, like 2 years ago, is maybe we should invest like 100%, like
Mhm.
nearly fully invest. But like for example, now I have to also look at the factors, like the news like COVID-19, or um, what sectors would benefit from this COVID, on which sectors that maybe we should avoid first. So I give the weight for the like maybe the overweight sector first, and then I pick the stocks within that sector.
Hmm.
So I have to maybe because the analyst will give me all the list of stocks, but then I have to look at the maybe top down as well, that which sectors are benefiting, and then I pick the stock again.
And I guess that one of the difference between a sell side analyst and a buy side analyst or fund manager is that a sell side analyst is sometimes narrowly focused on their sector. So it's
Yes,
harder for them to put things in context, but you have to look at the big picture.
yes,
Yeah,
correct.
okay. And also, fund managers, we say that an analyst is sell side because we're selling our ideas,
Mm,
and fund
mm,
managers are buy side because they're buying
but
those ideas.
yes,
But
yes.
the truth is that fund managers also have to sell to their
Mm,
investors,
yes, yes.
right? So can you tell us a little bit about, because some people
Mm,
say, I want to be a fund manager, but they don't realize that means
mm,
you're taking care of people's real money,
yes,
and
yes.
you've got to communicate with them to get more money or to keep their money in or to keep them
Mm.
satisfied. Maybe you could tell us a bit about that.
Yes, actually, a fund manager is also stressing because you use the fund like the money of the clients and invest, and sometimes if it you make the loss, then you will feel quite bad for the investors. So we have to, before we invest, we have to make sure that like our decisions, our investment process is correct, so that we can make the like good high return for our investors. Yes, so my jobs is like to make the performance good, then we can go to see the customers, the clients, and then
Mm,
they are happy. But for example, if it's for, we also like make some loss, we have to go and explain to the marketing team or to the clients that why what happened, why we made some loss, and what is the outlook that going forward, and how we can improve our performance.
mm.
Yes.
Okay. And so now I think we understand, a sell side, we understand the buy side fund manager. Well, what about, you mentioned about marketing. So there's a whole nother department in a mutual fund company.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what the marketing role is and your interactions with marketing as
Yes.
a fund manager.
We have to like communicate with the marketing team very often, like once a week we have to meet the marketing team. We have to do the presentation, updating the markets. What happened to the markets, and what happened to our funds, why we outperform or underperform, and what is the outlook. Maybe the marketing team, they are very short term, so maybe you have to give them like in 1 week, what is the outlook. Yes, and what should be the what is our strategies to to improve the fund performance. Yes, and sometimes, yes,
Go ahead. Sometimes.
yes, sometimes the clients are always like ask any news, like for example the oil price today drop a lot, so we have to react, respond very fast. Yes.
Yeah. And as far as the salespeople or the marketing team is concerned, what skills do they need to be successful in their job?
Mm-hmm. Okay, they have to understand the markets too, and then but then the marketing team needs to be able to communicate and like maybe talk with the clients and like have a good service mind. Yeah, so they must like maybe uh sometimes the clients are aggressive or quite angry. They have to know the tactics, how to talk to the clients. Yes, and keep a long relationship. Yes.
And I'm curious, how do you balance the short term and the long term? On the one hand, when the client puts the money into a fund, almost every fund manager says, I'm managing for the long term. There may
Yes,
be
yes.
times we underperform, there may be times we outperform, but ultimately I'm trying to manage your money for the long term. And the client says, yes, I agree. But when it goes down or it goes up,
Yes, yes.
they get so excited. And then all of a sudden, a lot of pressure can come on a fund manager. How do you
Yes.
balance the short term and the long term, objectives?
Okay, I think maybe in Thailand the clients are very short term, and they don't maybe. Yes, we have to balance. For example, we give some maybe around 80%, we have to keep it as a core, but then maybe 10-20% we can maybe reduce. For example, now the COVID-19, the market is quite bad, so we have some room like 20% to maybe invest, to not invest, like keep it as a cash. For example, when the market's down, or when we see that is maybe for some times that it will not, maybe the market will not be so good, we have cash like 20%. Yes, or sometimes we put into another sectors that's more defensive. Yes, or we put into like other asset class, if we can, like into gold. So we will like maybe give some room like 20% that we can play around.
Right. Okay,
Yes.
great. So another question is, what are the skills? If somebody's a young person and they're starting to
Yeah.
build their career in finance, what skills do they need to develop to be successful in your job as a fund manager?
Okay, I think they have to have a high interest in the markets. They have to maybe read a lot and follow the news, because like all the time there's a news that would affect the stock markets, and they have to maybe interest in, maybe if uh, they have to have a wide knowledge of many asset class. For example, like in the gold, commodity, real estate, because for my job we have to also do the asset allocation. So we have to know like okay, now equity is good, we should give higher weight to equity, or if maybe it's not a good time, we should go for fixed income. So they have to um, uh, read at like a lot, read a lot, and then try to like do many research. And yes.
And one of the things that's different about, let's say, an analyst job is that an analyst can go deeper and deeper and
Yeah.
deeper into one
Yes.
company, into one
Yes.
sector, but a fund manager just doesn't have that time.
Yes. Yes.
You've got
Yes.
to be more comfortable looking at things, many different things,
Yes.
but not so deep. And if you have that personality, it works really well in that job.
Yes. Yes.
Which for me, I get frustrated when I have to jump from one thing to the other, and I don't feel like I understand that last thing. And so that's one of the reasons why the job of an analyst really suited me, because it gave me the ability to go deeper and deeper. And so I started feeling good about, I really understand this. And also that's what made me valuable to a fund manager, because they said, okay, I believe that Andrew's really done his work here, and I want to rely on that.
Correct. So we trust you.
Yeah, I think that the personality aspect of it is so important, of what it is that really suits your personality, and that helps to find the job. All right. So my last question for you is just, if imagine a young woman, a young man coming out of university, studied finance, they want to work a career in finance. What advice would you give them nowadays?
The advice, maybe they can the advice, maybe they can try, for example, for me, I go for interviews, because actually I'm at the beginning, I don't really know what I should do. So I go for interview different jobs, and then during the interview, and then sometimes I have to do the test. So I know that, like, okay, this one suits me. Yes. For example, like I went for the marketing, and then I think I'm not so good, because I have to find, they give me the task that I have to find the very high net worth customers, and which I don't really have a relationship relation with the clients. Or I went for the maybe the analyst. I also went for the job in an analyst, but I have to do a lot of tests, like maybe in-depth accounting, and I cannot do the accounting part. So I think maybe I will not be so good on the as the analyst. Yes.
So that's good advice. I think the idea of going around, meeting a lot of people, talking to them, interviewing, and finding out, what it's all about. Fantastic. All right. Well, I just want to thank you for taking the time to share a little bit about your career in finance. So
thank you very much.
Yeah, do you have any parting words for the audience?
Party word?
Parting words, as in your last words.
The last word. Um, Good luck, and I think you will you will find the maybe what is it? You what is
You're gonna find your own path.
Yes. Correct. Yes, thank you. You will find your
Yeah.
own path.
All
Yes.
right. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Yep.
much. ขอบคุณ
Bye.
ค่ะ
Yeah.
Thank you